what would we students of today, or say Muslim scholars of today, what should we do to prepare ourselves to become the Islamic leaders of tomorrow? Because I feel this question is very important, because it would be shameful for us to leave this hall today not knowing what to do. Thank you, Sheikh.
MashaAllah. By all means study electricity and magnetism, and heat and light and sound, particularly heat, because I asked for some tepanasi, it wasn't panas at all. But in addition, you must begin the process of education with the Quran. The Quran must remain the foundation, the heart of your education all through. And you must end your process of education with the Quran when you're going down in the grave. All through your life, the Quran must be the supreme guide. And you cannot study the Quran, and you cannot understand the Quran without one who is sent to teach the Quran. He was not only sent to teach the Quran, he was sent to live the Quran. And that's Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Give me a few minutes. I graduated from the Alimia Institute of Islamic Studies in Pakistan in 1971 with Al-Ijaza Al-Aliyah from the Institute, which is equivalent to a bachelor's degree. As Kamil would be the master's degree, and Takhassus would be the PhD. So I got the first degree. But I also had a master's degree in philosophy from Karachi University, and I went back home to Trinidad. I applied for a job in the Foreign Service because my teacher said to me, I don't want your hand like this, I want your hand like this. I know the character of the Ummah today. You become the Imam of a masjid, you got to sing the tune, you got to dance to the tune that they sing. Huh? You lose your freedom. I want you to have your independence, so go and get a job. So I applied for a job in the Foreign Ministry. And they interviewed me. A battery of people with a psychologist and a diplomat and so on. And they said, Mr. Hussein, you're the kind of man we love to have in the Foreign Ministry, but we need to send you back to the university to study international relations. Would you go? I said, certainly, sir. Thank you very much. And they gave me a scholarship. So I went to the Institute of International Relations of the University of the West Indies to do a postgraduate diploma, after which they sent me to Geneva to do the PhD. But this postgraduate diploma, the class had about 23 students, and you had to fight your way to get into that class. Oh yes, lots of applicants, but only 23 chosen. Most of them were diplomats in different foreign ministries. And they're all university graduates. French universities, British, Canadian, American, and the University of the West Indies. And only Imran Hussein, poor fellow, with a Pakistani degree. So everybody looking down at me with my Pakistani degree. Oh, wait a minute. When the classes start, we're studying international economics, international trade and development, international monetary economics. I know nothing about the subject. And next to me is this fellow with a master's degree from the London School of Economics. I have to study international politics, I have to study international law, I have to study the conduct of diplomacy, I have to study the history of international relations. But it quickly became evident in that class that I was one of the better students. Superior in my understanding to all of these diplomats. What was the reason? The answer was that I took the Quran and the Prophet ﷺ with me in the classroom. That's the answer. And my teacher gave to me the methodology with which I was able to apply the Quran to international monetary economics. As a result, I could write this book today. When the exams came at the end of the year, guess who came first? Guess who came first? The fellow with the Pakistani degree. And in the exams of international monetary economics, not only did he come first, he beat the fellow with a master's degree from the London School of Economics. I don't say this to you with any pride or arrogance. I just share this with you so you'll know the value of studying the Quran and applying the Quran to whatever branch of knowledge that you are pursuing. You are not going to penetrate the Quran until you submit to the Quran. No. The door of the Quran has to be open to you. And in order for the door of the Quran to be open to you, you have to first learn this lesson, which my teacher taught me. Once you accept that this is the word of Allah, then whether you understand what is in the Quran or you don't, whether you're comfortable with it or you're not, submit to it. Submit to it. Understanding can come afterwards. Reason cannot sit in judgment over the word of Allah when once you accept that it is the word of Allah. That's disrespect. So having accepted that this is the word of Allah, you now approach it humbly, with intellectual humility. Secondly, you have to have familiarity with the Quran. Suppose, I don't know if this will happen, you are in the grave and the angels come and the tests now begin. You don't have any of your professors to help you in the grave, and the angel hands you a copy of the Quran and the angel says, recite. And you ask the angel, could you kindly give me a Bahasa copy? I can't read the Arabic. That's when you might get the first slap on your face. Or when you take the copy of the Quran and you start to recite, you are stumbling over the words. You understand the word stumbling? You are stumbling over the words. Why? Because you never recited the Quran. No. You never recited the Quran. The Quran was sent for you to recite, not only to study but to recite. And so and how to recite the Quran? Answer, from cover to cover. That's the way to recite. Your grandfather used to do it before television came, and before the internet came, and before McDonald's hamburgers came. Your grandfather used to recite it, your grandmother used to recite it, and the best time to recite the Quran is in the morning. So if you want to penetrate the Quran, to understand the world today, you better start by learning to recite it in Arabic, number one. Number two, reciting it constantly, from cover to cover, cover to cover. When you finish, you start again. When you finish, you start again, and you do that for the rest of your life. Okay? And then after that you pursue the subject of studying the Quran using the proper methodology, not the lazy man's methodology. And may Allah bless your effort that you may get a chance to penetrate the Quran. The Quran may be able to explain to you the world today that you would never ever be able to understand without the Quran.